Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. I hope everybody is having an amazing Thanksgiving. If you're watching on Thanksgiving and if you're watching after Thanksgiving, I hope you had a great day with your family and friends. But today's video is going to be about 5 bold players to start this week. Last time we mentioned 4 players that did really well and then 1 player that absolutely busted. So obviously this is not going to be 100% accurate. This is bold predictions after all, but hopefully these guys outperform expectations and they can all have good weeks. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and liking the video. Of course, if you're new, you guys have been on an absolute tear subscribing to this channel. We just started this month and we're already almost at 500. So I want to thank you guys so much. All right, guys, we're going to start it off with number 1 here, Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams is currently projected 7.2 fantasy points in PPR leagues on ESPN. I think he easily gets over 10. That's the prediction. That's the bold prediction, is that Kyron Williams gets over 10 PPR fantasy points for you, because they just waived Darrell Henderson the other day, which means the only running backs on this roster right now are Cam Akers and Kyron Williams. All right, the quarterback for this team this week is going to be Bryce Perkins, which means a lot of dump offs, a lot of checkdowns. They're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. This should be a blowout from the Chiefs. I mean, they should absolutely dominate throughout this whole contest, which makes me think even more that Kyron Williams is going to get heavily involved in the passing game, because Cam Akers, as we've seen over the weeks, doesn't really catch many passes. So do what you will with this information. If you have to start Kyron Williams, I'm really not opposed to it at all. I think he could have a pretty big day, especially for being his 3rd game back from injury. By the end of the season, also, I wouldn't be surprised if this dude is a starting running back in Los Angeles. Coming in at number 2 here, we have Rashad White, and I've been talking about Rashad White for a while now. I think he's due for a good game. Coming off that monster performance, 22 carries, 105 yards against the Seattle Seahawks, I think he could be in line for another big day of work, especially if Leonard Fournette is not 100% healthy during this matchup. Also, I've talked about it in a couple videos now, the Cleveland versus Tampa Bay game supposed to have bad weather, which means it's going to be heavily relied on screen passes and rushing plays in this matchup. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rashad White gets around 13 to 15 PPR fantasy points, hopefully even exceeds that. I'm starting him in 1 league, so I'm praying for the best. Maybe I'm a little biased here, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Coming in at number 3 here, we have Michael Carter, and I know a lot of people that started Michael Carter last week are very, very pissed off, very disappointed at his performance. I think it was 1.9 PPR fantasy points. Not good. Zach Wilson looked awful, but they are changing the QB up, which means a lot of checkdowns, a lot more running plays for this team, I would expect. I mean, how can it get worse from last week? It really can't get worse from last week, and I expect him to have a bounce back game here against the Chicago defense that's not great. Not great whatsoever. I think they don't have trouble scoring points in this matchup, unlike last week against the #1 New England Patriots defense. I would start him again. I would honestly start him again and expect around 12 to 15 fantasy points for Michael Carter. Also, just in case you guys were wondering, the quarterback for the Jets starting on Sunday is going to be Mike White, not Joe Flacco. I know a couple people thought that Joe Flacco would be the starter, including myself, but apparently it's going to be Mike White instead. All right, coming in at number 4 here, we have Josh Palmer, coming off an amazing game, 8 catches, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns, 10 targets for him, 30.6 PPR fantasy points. He was an absolute stud last week. Let me double down on him. Give me him again against the Arizona Cardinals, especially if Mike Williams is going to be out. I think he will be. Plug Josh Palmer in your lineup. He should get you more than 10 fantasy points this week again. He's going to rely heavily on the volume along with Keenan Allen. Those are going to be the 1-2 punch against this Cardinals defense. That is pretty tough, I'm not going to lie, but Justin Herbert will do the job against him. I'm pretty sure of it. I'd be very confident starting Josh Palmer like as a flex option. Hopefully you only have to start him as a flex option, but he's your wide receiver too, then so be it. Hopefully he gets you some fantasy points. All right, coming in at number 5 here, Treylon Burks, a hot commodity on the waiver wire in everybody's waiver wire videos this week. For good reason. He's just coming back from an injury recently and got heavily involved in the offense last week. I expect that to continue. Ryan Tannehill actually looked pretty good last week and seems to be building a good connection with Treylon Burk, who is a rookie, by the way. He's going to blossom over the rest of the year, and if you got him off your waivers, I'd be very excited to see what he can do. In this matchup, we're expecting hopefully over 10 PPR fantasy points. Again, we want to see some consistency and a lot of targets going his way, and I would expect nothing less best in this matchup. Last but not least, I know I only said 5 in this video, but we're going to throw in an extra one. This one can't really be counted as, you know, a low-end player. This is kind of a well-known player, but Michael Pittman Jr. has been struggling all year. Projected at 13.5 PPR fantasy points at the time of recording this video. I think he easily gets over 15 against a Steelers defense that just got torched by T. Higgins on very similar routes that Michael Pittman Jr. would run. You know, these are 10-yard out routes, 10-yard slant routes over the middle of the field, towards the edge of the field, but he's not going to run deep routes. I'm telling you right now, Michael Pittman Jr. is not the person to throw deep to, not normally. Watch, he'll catch a deep touchdown this weekend, but I hope he does for you. If you play any of these guys, I hope it works out. If you are new to the channel, like I said earlier, please hit that subscribe button. And also, if any of this information helps you guys out, please hit the like button. It really helps me out. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.